Wednesday, Fired Up Live. We are here, Lisa.
What's up with this close up on you?
Well, Lisa, why don't you tell everybody what happened?
Well,
But you didn't pay the electric bill on this circuit behind me here.
I did not pay the electric bill, so now the television is not working. We're running on a generator to make sure our
Yes.
Wi-Fi and live stream setup is working.
Correct. That. What that tells you is we do anything in our powers to make sure we go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We get fired up right here. And Lisa, this is after this episode. There's 2 left for this season.
That's it. 2 left.
2 left. It was a good season. We're finishing strong. We got 3 really strong episodes coming to you today, being one of them. So today I have the opportunity and privilege to speak to my friend and someone that many of you all know, I'm sure. Let's bring him in, Lisa, Mr. Taz Sutherland from Walmart. Taz, welcome.
Fired up and ready for it. How's your
Fired up,
Wednesday?
baby.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So for the few people that might not know who you are, do us a favor, let everybody know who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Yep. So Taz Sutherland, native Arkansan, Arkansas, as we like to call it, right?
That's right.
I got 22 years in with Walmart. Current role, I'm a senior manager over vendor management and organization. I've been a food equipment expert. I've been a SME in that field. I've done refrigeration, HVAC, energy management system monitoring and programming. So essentially, in a nutshell, though, I've been a multi-site facilities manager for 20 plus years, working for Walmart corporate here in beautiful Bentonville, Arkansas. And so had tons and tons of opportunities. One of them, of course, being part of the Fed group and all the great things we've done over the last few years. And yeah, the food industry is and I can say this literally from experience now, right? So I, as a senior manager now, I have several other roles and hats that I put on for several other industries outside of food equipment, right? And the food equipment industry remains one of the sort of tightest knit group of people who understand that partnership is the only way to get ahead in sort of anything in this world, right? So that's what I love. I love the partnerships. I love the networking. I love solving problems together, and that's me.
That is you. And it's the industry's been changing. It's been shifting. There's been so many things happening. It's been all over the place. Acquisitions and just consolidation and new manufacturers and companies coming up, and just so many different things. So with that said, I don't know, you tell me, I don't know how long ago this was announced, but Walmart did acquire City FM, which is a very big facility maintenance company in the country.
Yeah, so we acquired their Walmart division, right? So City FM still exists as a company, right? And I believe, and I'll probably get this wrong, but I believe they originated in the UK. We found them that they were partners with our Asda group over there. Walmart has the relationship with Asda Groceries over in the UK. In the 4 big countries over there that are part of the United Kingdom. We brought them over here, and they expanded into the United States on the eastern, sort of our eastern coast package, right? So everything from Maine to Florida, and kind of all of those states that go along that coast there. And so it was in conjunction with CBRE, which was our West Coast. We called them outsourced. They were our outsourced division, right? So, but yeah, it would have been. Let's see, it was January. It was January of this last year when we started that shift. And so what we had acquired, we sort of acquired the managers, the techs, the trucks, the tools, and some of the buildings, and just sort of took that division over for City FM for the Walmart work they were doing.
Yeah, and so for City FM, for the Walmart specifically, what are they specializing in for you guys? Is it just food equipment, or is it other?
No, so City FM and CBRE was the same way. They're an all-in maintenance group, right? So they're going to for a contract fee essentially manage the maintenance needs of the entire building, right? So full fleet maintenance, right? And I always call it stop sign in, right? So once you hit the stop sign at the entrance, everything from there all the way to the retention pond at the back, right? They would own some level of the maintenance in that. There's some specialized trades which they wouldn't manage, which are just, fire suppression is a big one. There's just a lot of codes that go with that, and then like what wastewater compliance and that sort of stuff. But outside of that, they were working on potholes, they were working on fryers, they were working on HVAC, lights, any.
Oh, we lost him.
We lost Taz.
Everyone who knows Taz knows.
There's one line with
Technician.
an Ethernet cable
That's
in
working.
Arkansas.
Oh.
There he is.
Yeah, somebody stepped on the cable again. I don't know. You know us and these big boots around here, so. But yeah,
sorry,
full maintenance package, right?
Yeah.
So, and so we essentially we had City FM technicians, City FM managers, and sort of fleet managers that managed all of that for us, and they did it, under a certain budget type role, right? So we paid them an all-in fee to. It's sort of a white glove service, if you will, but specifically targeted for us site by site, right? So.
Yeah. Lisa, do we have anything yet that we want to bring in just before I keep going?
Oh no, I've been bringing in everyone just loves Taz.
Oh, baby.
Big Taz looking good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this is. Okay, so
What do we have?
GACC WFTFUL
That's Jason.
WTTAFM. Good afternoon, crew. Can't wait for this Fired Up Live with Taz talking about facilities management.
Yeah, those acronyms.
Tell me that's Hartman. Tell me that's Hartman. I'd be shocked.
That's got to be.
Oh, it absolutely is. Has to be.
That has to be.
Yeah. What's up, Jason? Yeah. No.
Jason Hartman in the building.
I should have worn my acronym World Tour shirt for him today. I wasn't even thinking. So yeah, but
That's great.
Yeah.
And so with this acquisition, what was what's the main objective for that? I mean, obviously we know, being in the service business on our side, I understand there's lots of costs that are come attached. When you buy an oven, there's maintenance. When you come and buy those combi ovens, there's going to be repairs. There's going to be there's cost that goes into this. So looking at this from the Walmart standpoint, what was the objective of this acquisition for City FM?
Yeah, so the overall objective, if you'll travel back a couple of years, we used to be completely reliant on third parties. We didn't have actual in-house maintenance managers or technicians. We had some regional persons, right, but not really at the sort of wrench turner level. And so a few years back, we went through a process where we were going to test out CBRE, we were going to test out City, and then we were going to test out our own in-house brand, right? Essentially, all three groups had the same marching orders. Here's the stores you have. Here's the maintenance problems they have. How do you solve them, right? And so that began that journey where we said City does it this way, CBRE does it this way, and Walmart in-house does it this way. And as we went on, it became very quickly obvious that if you can pull that off in-house, and Walmart, of course, has the sort of people power and the capital to pull that off in-house. You can pretty quickly do the math on that. Any kind of markup, no matter what rates we negotiated, you're still going to get a better deal if you sort of manage that in-house. So as we went through that, we exited our contract with CBRE on the West Coast and took over their areas. Walmart was very, one of the things I love about it, Walmart was very sort of meticulous in that, right? So anyone that was working for CBRE in that area that was specifically working on the Walmart account, we made sure they landed somewhere, right? So that each one of the men and women out there that were working on the Walmarts already in that CBRE zone, we made sure they landed somewhere, or they at least had options to land somewhere, right? They're an individual, so it's obviously, if they didn't want to work for Walmart, that's of course their choice, right? But they were given options, right? So, and then 6 to 8 months later, we did sort of the same thing on the East Coast with City FM, same type of thing. The big difference being CBRE, we sort of just exited our contract with. We didn't acquire anything from them. On the City side, we acquired this sort of large swath of technicians and vans and tools and on all of this stuff. And so now we sort of have information on how do you do this contract, and then how do you back out of a contract, and then you also have how do you do this other contract, and how do you acquire that group, right? So we have sort of all these data points on, and the basic crux of it is how do you build a service company, right? How do you get a tech in a truck with tools responding to calls? And then after you have so many of those, you have to have somebody that manages. Somebody has to help them make sure they get their paychecks, make sure they get the oil change on the trucks. Like, you move into sort of that fleet. And then when you sort of throw the old Walmart calculator on it, we have 4,600 sites, right? So as you can imagine, that becomes more than 5 guys and 5 trucks, right? Like it becomes.
That damn cable again.
And of course, we're doing it in a really kind of fruitful new way. We got a lot of savings we get off of this just by having that in our house. And we always call it the, in your world, right, you call it the nuisance calls, right? The gasket calls, the tighten the door handle calls. The reality is we would pay you a ridiculous amount to go tighten a door handle, right? If you look at it from that standpoint, because realistically, it's a 2-minute fix. Now, if I need somebody who's an expert in, say, rationale combis and can fire into it and knows how to go right now, it's okay to pay the sort of those external rates because I get that expert in the industry to come in there. I don't need an expert to turn a Phillips head screw. That's right. That's the easy stuff, right? So that's the low hanging fruit if you use the corporate terms, right? And so that's what we've been going after, and from where I sit, it's been a really cool experience. We have a ton. I mean, we've essentially built our own service brand. We built our own service branch. There's talk about in the future of it actually being something we can sell to additional partners, right? So we're not there yet, but we're approaching that where Walmart will be a brand of service for a lot of different things. So that's kind of what we're building up.
That's interesting. I mean, where would that go? Would be so like other supermarket chains or?
Sure. It depends. It'd be either supermarket chains or it'd be, and it all kind of depends on where we would step into first, right? Like if we stepped into elevator maintenance, and I'm using that because that would be nuts for us to step into elevator maintenance. That's a crazy world all into its own, right? But if we were to step into that, we would go to the the Marriotts and the Best Westerns and these folks that, they have 2 or 3 elevators on every single location. We have about 80 sites that end up with elevators right out of the 4,600. So very, super tiny amount. But if we were to do that kind of maintenance, we would talk to the Marriott, that sort of thing. And ours is kind of, it's Walmart's big omnidirectional move, right? So the new thing they call the new branding they have, it's called end to end. Right. And so we sort of fulfill the customer's needs end to end, right? So the customer comes to us with a need. They need medicine. We have pharmacies, right? They need food. We have groceries. They need hot food. We have delis, have all these things. And we're fixing the machines ourselves in the background. And then we're partnering. And I know this is going to kind of caveat into your next question, right? But one of the big things is every service company is only as effective as their partnership in the real world, right? So everybody wants to do it themselves and they want to gain that profit and that sort of thing, right? But the reality is Malachi, when they get up against a big install, they're hiring electricians and plumbers on a sub basis, right? Like they're pulling in other people, it's at 480 and all that. You guys are familiar with it, but now you're going to run conduit across a building. You get into that crazy stuff. That's where you start to build those partnerships. And that's what Walmart does. And that's part of what I do as a BMO, right? So if the fryer calls are too much or there's too many of them or somebody's on PTO or, we have people that leave our company or are brand new to our company just like you do, right? So it may be out of sight of their scope. They don't have the experience on that yet. Or maybe the person's left and gone. Maybe one of my guys leaves and goes to work for Malachi, right? So now for a time being, I have a hole here and I need to move somebody else in there. It's the same pain any service company is going to feel, right? Yeah. And so that's why we develop really, really good partnerships so that we always have a backup. I had to lean on a couple of my really good partners in Florida this weekend and they of course pulled us out, helped us out quite a bit. We just sort of, it was just one of those collective, it was a crazy weekend for Walmart. It's Labor Day anyway, but
Oh yeah.
We had a store catch on fire, we had a fryer catch on fire, and then we had 2 fryers down within 20 minutes of each other, right? So the store couldn't even say, hey, I tell you what, if you run down the street to the next store, they got fried chicken there. Tell Bob, the manager, I sent you, they'll get you, some discount or something, right? They couldn't even do that, right? Their neighbor's store couldn't fry chicken either. And so we had this, I spent quite a deal of time on, the phone and the computer on Saturday, just dealing with what you would call normal Saturday on the holiday, right? So, but that's a lot of where we're at now. It's the self-performance model. It's the full service model to the customer.
He'll be back. Give him a second.
How much we can take over ourselves and do ourselves, right? There's still always, did we lose me again?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay. But you're always going to need that partnership, right? You always need, everybody needs help, right? And even Walmart, as big as we are, we lean on a lot of people every single minute of every single day, right? And so I know there's a lot that has changed in the industry. There's a lot that's changed with how Walmart moves through the industry. But it's still in the partnership mindset, right? So we have a customer we're trying to get service to, and if we can't pull it off, we're going to hire that out. And we have to, the big thing is we have to move through it quickly, right? The longer you wait to get that customer help, the quicker they're going to be like, well, Target isn't looking so bad. And you lose it, right? Like you lose the brand, you lose the image and everything. And that's not where we want to be. So.
Got you. Yeah. So before I keep going, I want to see, Lisa, we have anything?
Yes, there's a question for Taz here.
Okay.
How do you vet or validate service providers as being a specific brand equipment expert when you need to get one in?
It's a great question. Any MSFM like myself is going to have a ton of questions that we use to sort of validate. As you can imagine, you've probably seen me walking around conferences. I get tons of solicitations, which is it's what I'm there for, right? Like that's the whole. If I didn't want to get, if I didn't want to get people asking me how to get in the Walmart door, I wouldn't go to those conferences, right? That's the whole reason I go there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like RIFMA. They have the 90-second.
Yep.
You got to come up and we're going to give you a spiel real quick. Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. We call it speed dating, but
that's it.
Yeah, we've got some questions real quick that we look for and understand when I fire off questions, I'm not necessarily looking for red flags, but I'm looking for that capability as they're talking about, right? That brand equipment expert. And so a lot of times I'll have trick questions, but they're not to understand. I'm not trying to trick a vendor into anything, but I'm trying to understand when they say they work on food equipment, what's the bandwidth, right? Because I have people that approach me and they're very good with, hot merchandisers and maybe soda machines and that kind of stuff. And I need those people. I need those people. At the same time, I need companies like Malachi or several other companies that can work on giant rack ovens and, tortilla machines and these bigger, hot merchandisers are fine. Somebody's always breaking those. But I ask questions in order to understand what your scope is, right? A lot of times I'm asking what's your CFESA standing, right? It's not required, but typically asking about CFESA gives me a lot of information. Oh, we're a voting member, or we're an affiliate member. We send 2 texts every quarter to master, something like that. Something that says to me that, okay, not only are you trying to get my business, but if I talk to your technician, they have opportunities to grow and strive. So that tells me that it's not about just getting a Walmart dollar, but you're actually in the background running a company that if any investor looked at would go, yep, that makes sense. I'm ready to spend kind of thing. So that's a lot of it comes down to questions just like that, and I usually hit them with the combi oven. And it's fun. It's funny. Several of my peers have been with me when I ask people about combi ovens, and there's a reaction that I'm looking for from combi oven, right? And it's one of those key things. And if I say, hey, do you work on combi ovens? And somebody goes, yeah, we work on them all the time. We love them. You're lying to me. You're lying to me.
Nobody
I'm sorry. Everybody has some ability to work on them, but if you love working on combi ovens, you're lying to me, right? So typically, what I'll get from a really reputable service company is they're like, yeah, we do they might tell me, yeah, we're an ASR for rationale, or we're an ASR for combo, whatever, right? But they'll also give you a little bit of honest truth in there, right? Don't really have any henny pennies in the area. So if that's what you're talking about, I'm a little flaky. So I get some honest feedback, right? So they're actually willing to give me a little bit of insight into their weak points in their operation. And now I'm dropping into a trust, right? I've gotten an honest answer from them, and I know they already said it. They said this brand is a struggle with them, so I'm not going to feed them that. And so that's a lot of okay, yeah. So Gene's the one guy I think on the planet that loves it. Well,
give him a second. He's coming back. I promise.
I think that's a pretty rare breed. I definitely love what a combi can do, but there's such a maintenance pain. So, great question though.
Yeah.
I hope I answered that for you, but yeah, there's a lot of tricks. And anybody that sees me at a conference that wants to walk with me from supplier to supplier, vendor to vendor, welcome to do so. I'm always happy to share. Like, I'm not doing anything earth shattering. I'm out shaking hands and networking and asking questions. I'm trying to understand what, you say you say, how do I become a vendor for Walmart? And I said, what do you do? And you go, I do these things, right? And I go, how well do you do them? What do you do? Like, I have questions for all of those. And, I'm always in a need for somewhere. So there's a pretty good chance if you check the reasonable boxes, we're going to try you out in an area. We may shake hands 6 months later and go, well, that didn't work, but now we know. But 6 months later, I may be like, hey, I got a need over here. Can I add you? Can I move you? So there's a lot of that, just kind of having honest conversations with people. So
yeah, please, are you saying something?
Yeah, just one more question to ask before we move on here. What is the state of your in-house tech program?
So I'm assuming you're asking, like, what level are we staffed, or how do we feel we are? So let me see if I can answer it completely for you. Happy to answer further if we need to. So right now we have a few thousand technicians across our fleet. I would say the state of it's relatively new, but not. I think we're definitely getting past that, what I would call green phase. But we're still. I mean, if you look, Walmart's been around since '62, but Walmart's in-house tech program, outside of HVACR, has only been around about 6 or 7 years, right? So we're like, if you were to look at us just as a service company. Fairly young service company, right? Like, we've been in business 5-6 years kind of thing. We're not a Malachi that's been in business since the 80s, or a Hobart that's been in business since, gosh, I don't even remember, 19 or whatever, like whenever Hobart started, right? So we don't have any like decades of bandwidth, but a lot of our managers and our technicians have come from industry field experts, right? We have technicians that have come from a Hobart. We have technicians that have come from a Stanley Doors. We have technicians that have come from a Crown forklifts, or any of those kind of places. So we have that industry knowledge to a degree. We're still in that new phase, right? So we're still kind of, in fact, right now we're working through some internal changes that should help us a little further along. We kind of went down 2 paths and then said this path works better, so we're going to shift everybody to this path, and then it's the old process improvement game, right? And so I think hopefully that's the question you're looking to ask, right? So our technicians are we're growing. One of the big changes we've made in the last 12 months alone. Originally, our plan was just to have general maintenance technicians, right? Everybody was just sort of a generalist. For 60 or 70% of the work that we do at a Walmart, that's fine, right? Again, it's the tightening the screws, it's the putting the threshold back down, and kind of some of that. I just need somebody with tools to go, put something back together. We have amped up our coverage in HVACR. That's a big thing. Everybody's struggling to find a tech. Everybody's air conditioners down. Everybody's walk-ins down. Walmart faces the exact same problems, right? And then we've started our what they call specialty technician programs, right? So food equipment technicians would fall into that. We have door equipment technicians. We have robotics technicians, and so we're starting. So we have general maintenance technicians, but now we're starting to build in our specialty guys. And it's just like any service company would do. Like if I said, Rich, who do you have for microwaves? You're going to tell me someone's name. And I said, who do you have for combis? You're going to tell me somebody else's name, right? Both may be able to cross work, but I got a combi down, you're sending this person. I got microwaves down, you're sending this person, because they've just become that expert in that field. And so that's where Walmart's state of their techs are right now, is we're building in that knowledge base and sort of, working on. We have weak points. That's when we start to, look at third-party vendors, right? So, food equipment sometimes is that weak point. Sometimes we have really good staffing in an area, but nobody's ever really worked on the big ovens. That's okay. We have third parties to help back us up. We're working through all of that. So I hope that answered his question. If not, throw another comment in there. I'll try to be more specific if we can, for sure.
Yeah. No, I think you answered it perfectly. And just to go back to, the vetting part and how you choose. I mean, I think, and this goes back to recently in the Fed group. I see people asking about Cefesa and should I join and all these different things. And, for someone like you that knows about Cefesa, maybe not everyone knows about Cefesa, but more and more people are catching on. And it's one of those things, I think, that you need to be, if you're in the food equipment service industry, you need to be a part of the associations and organizations that are leading the way, I'll say, in the market. You have to be a part of these things. You have to network with these people. You have to show that, you're, like you said, you're not just going to pick any, XYZ company. I want to know what you could do. I want to know that you're training your guys, that you care enough to train your guys, that you're, doing the things to stay ahead of the game, innovation, and all that stuff. So, yeah, especially for the people that are watching from the Fed group, maybe that are questioning things too, be a part of the industry. You have to be, especially if you're looking to build a quality business. I don't care if you have 2 guys or 20 or 50. It's all about continually being better than yesterday, and letting your partners know and see that too. So, just to talk on that, Lisa, anything?
100%.
Mike Reed says to join Cefesa and the Fed group.
Join both. Yep. And
be a part of it.
Yeah, and that was I loved that thread. That's a great thread. I think Cefesa is a pretty much understood standard in the food equipment industry. It is, but I'll be honest with you. I've asked that question before of a couple different companies, and they work for me now, and they'll tell me something along the lines of, well, we haven't really gotten in with Cefesa yet, but here's what we do for training for our technicians. I still get a warm and fuzzy over that, right? Because they're investing that, into their technicians. They know the more they invest in their technicians, the more customers they get. It goes hand in hand, right? The company that calls you out there, somebody shows up, they know what they're doing, they help them out, they bail them out, they fix them up. It's all about brand, right? And it starts with your technicians. That person wearing your uniform walks in your front door of your customer, they are representing your entire company. Right. And, Rich, a guy like you, has to trust that they're going to walk in there and not act like a clown for your customers. You have to trust. And we do too, right? I get it all the time. I have technicians that, we gotta grab their regional and have a conversation every once in a while and be like, hey, I get that this was out of your standard, what you understood. I'll be honest with you, it's past what I would have been able to help too. However, you kind of left that manager with the feeling that nobody was coming back, right? So, we have those conversations a lot. You are wearing, I wear Walmart logos. Your guys wear Malachi logos. They are an extension of your brand. And if they are not invested upon, like from the employee, sort of level, then that's how they're going to represent the brand, right? If the company halfway cares about them, then they're going to halfway care about the customer. And the customer knows it. The customer knows it quick.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's like when you walk in and your technician walks in and says, hey, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
These are things that
don't
when
do that.
you sit down, don't do that. I mean, we talk about these internal things, and these things go a long way. Words matter. These things matter. You start to, we don't want any customer losing confidence in us. Whether you've been doing this for a year, 20 years, you always might walk in. There's always a possibility you might walk into something that you've never seen before, or you've never worked on. That's okay. Especially the guys that have the expertise, you could figure it out. There's support, call our in-house tech support, call the manufacturer. There's different things, but when you're representing Malachy, I want you to walk in confident. I want you to make the customer feel confident. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure we're communicating to parties to make them continue to feel confident that, hey, we don't have the part, we're going to be back. We're going to come back.
Yep.
Like you said, we're going to be back. It's going to be done. You have the right people in place. It's important.
Yep. It's super important. It's super important.
So rolling on some questions here. So personally, and I don't know if this is, you tell me, how has your role changed since this acquisition? And what we lost him.
You're gonna have to ask him again.
We lost him.
Wait till you get it
Did
back.
we lose me again?
There you
Nope.
go.
We're back.
There he is.
Sorry.
You're back.
I don't know. I gotta find who keeps stepping on that internet cable, man. That's getting old.
There's
That's
just
getting
the
old.
line dancing.
That's it.
There's just
Yeah.
line dancing happening out there.
Yeah, so yeah, I heard some Billy Ray Cyrus on the way over here, so that may have been it. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how much you heard, but I don't know if this pertains to you. Let me know. But has your role changed, or within your position since the acquisition, if at all, and what does your day-to-day look like now?
So my day-to-day and my role didn't really change through the acquisition, right? So both of the sort of exits from the CBRE and the City Group happened after I was sort of promoted and sent to this current team I'm on, right? So I wouldn't say my role necessarily changed because of the acquisition. However, some of the new conversations that I've had to have because of what we got from City, and I don't want to sound like we got anything bad from them, right? But we brought a lot of people on from a big corporation onto our giant corporation. And so there was some knowledge base that we had, not necessarily with working on machines, right? But there was some knowledge base that we had to help them adjust to, right? And so I'll give you an example. One of the common ones was City had everything sort of tiered, right? So if you were working on something and then it became out of your depth, right? Which is, it's normal, right? Everybody has something everybody's good at something, everybody's just as terrible at something else, right? And so it's just the human strain, right? Yeah. And so they were able to then tell their manager, okay, I'm at a loss on this oven. I don't know what to do. I'm handing it back to you, right? And the manager would then go, okay, well, that's fine. I'm going to talk to Sue or Jared or whoever, they're my oven person, and they get shipped in. And they were able to sort of walk away from the problem and walk to try to deal with another problem, right? And that's the way they were set up. Walmart's in-house, that is your store, you own that problem. If you have to call Malachy to come bail you out, it's fine, but you better do it, right? Like that oven's out of your depth. You need to be calling, right? So one of the big things that has changed with me, now I'm reasonably good at communication, right? Like I feel like I probably got a little bit of bandwidth in there. But having to talk to technicians who now had a completely different set of training and how they dealt with things and helping them to correct so they're successful in that Walmart brand, right? Because that's what I want. Again, they were City, now they wear a Walmart badge, right? So when I tell them you need to talk to the store and ask them these questions or whatever we're helping them through, again, they're a brand extension of Walmart Home Office and Taz or Taz's team or facility services, whatever, however you want to stack that, they're now that brand extension of us, right? So I need them to understand what's going on. I need them to understand options and that sort of thing. So nothing huge changed, but there was a lot of shifts in how we communicated to make sure I was understood better, right? There was a lot of old sort of the Walmart way of communicating that was built in, and then we had to absorb these individuals from other companies. And so it was one of the first, I will tell you, it was one of the first times I've ever experienced helping onboarding large groups of individuals that I still haven't met most of them, right? Like I've been in meetings where I've been presenting and talking to hundreds and hundreds of people. I don't even know their first name. I don't know if they're married. I don't know if they have kids. I don't know if they have a dog or cat or a chameleon. I don't know them. And so that was kind of a weird thing, right? my entire career at Walmart was more me standing in front of a live audience, if you will. And I'm gaining that feedback, right? I can tell, you can, when you're looking at them, you can tell, okay, I've lost the audience. I've talked too long. So I'll go back and restate and then shift and then regain focus. When you're talking to large groups over Zoom and various things like that, I lose that connection. So I had to learn to be much, much more intentional in my message and how it went so that it left. I don't mind questions. I love questions, but my new goal is that I have to be able to state something that leaves no one asking questions, right? That's how you become the next level leader. You have to go, this is where we're going. This is how we get there. This is the screw we tighten. This is the screw we loosen. Go, right? You are now part of the brand. Welcome aboard. So.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's true. I got another question here. We got a couple more questions here. But before I do, anything else, Lisa?
Nope.
Nothing. We lost Taz again. Talk amongst yourselves, everybody. So Lisa, how's everything go? Oh, he's back. All right.
Yeah.
There he is. All right. So so we'll keep going. Walmart is Walmart going to go fully in-house for maintenance, service, installations in the future? I've heard recently of another large convenience store chain that's beginning to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see other large C-stores, supermarkets bringing all services in-house for food equipment in the future?
So yes, to a point, right? It depends on what they're going to commit to and what they want to commit to. I think there's now, like I said, we've done it for 5 to 6 years now. So there is some data there where other large grocers can go, hey, maybe Walmart's onto something, right? Maybe they're not wrong here. Maybe we need to, as I stated at the beginning, right? Maybe we need to stop paying outside companies to tighten screws and then have them focus on where we need the expertise, right? Because that's a big part of the Walmart goal, right? Tightening a screw is tightening a screw, right? Programming an oven is that's another bag of worms. And so I think that's our goal is to be better focused and in control of our maintenance costs and the bleed out, right? And part of that is the initial response triage, right? So we have a technician, they have 4 stores, that's their only responsibility, right? So they're not going to be on the other side of the state and have to drop everything and run to the other side of the state. They're literally across town. And so that first level, getting in there, so the customer goes, okay, I put the ticket in, the guy rolls in 15 minutes later. He may not have fixed the problem, but at least now somebody's here and they're addressing my problem, right? Because on your store level, your individual store levels, they're very much in a mindset that it's all about their store. They don't care what anybody else's store is doing. And I get it, right? They're managing an environment and they're doing the best they can. And so when they put in a ticket and it takes days for somebody to show up versus somebody shows up in 15 minutes, they start to trust that brand. They feel better and better about that brand. Is all service all going to go in-house? It can't, right? I can't. Yeah. And we would have to, we would more than likely have to have 2 or 3 technicians per site to ever absolutely take over everything, right? And you have to think about, parking lot, asphalt overlays, that's not a one-person job, right? So you think about that from the maintenance perspective, anything that's 2 or more people on a job site, we're never going to take that holistically over, right? We're always there might be a Walmart tech there, but they've hired another company to bring in 2 additional people to help them solve the problem, right? And it shifts a lot. One of the biggest shifts, I've talked to some companies about this, one of the biggest shifts is it goes from, sort of that third-party service vendor mentality to more of a subcontractor type role, right? So there's our tech's already looked at it, and our tech's already determined that it's, they need help on it. So you have subcontractors, just like I was talking about earlier. You may hire an electrician or a plumber to come in and help you with an install. You don't have the need to have a full-time plumber and electrician on site, on staff, right, currently, but you do have a need for part-time, right? So now you have your partnerships, you have, Eddie or Sue or whoever you call to kind of come in and back you up in that role. Walmart's always going to be that. We are way too big to ever completely self-isolate like that. Yeah. Installations is a great example of that. Putting a combi oven together is always a 2-person job. I don't like, and Gene may jump in here and be like, I can do it by myself. Of course you can, but nobody else can, Gene. I mean, we all know
my father, my father, she doesn't cut you off, but my father too, like, that old school thing, like now it's like, oh, it's a 2-man job, 3-man job. Years ago, I put the combi oven on my back and I strap it up and 2 hours, 3 men.
Yeah. So kudos to you if you can do that by yourself. I tip my hat to you 100%, but everybody likes to have that helper that works well with them, right? And so installations is one of those that's always going to be tough. You're going to need electrical work, and you need plumbing, you're going to need various other things. Why fight it? Why beat yourself up over it, right? Schedule everybody to be there in order, right? And then just knock it out. And then you go, hey, here's the keys to your brand new oven. Happy baking, right? And just, now the customer's like, oh, it was so nice. They came in and they moved some stuff out and they made a little noise for a minute, and then they're back out of the way, right? So I'm back.
That's perfect.
There we go. Sorry about that. That's gonna be on my tombstone. It's gonna be like half my last name, and they're gonna be like,
it'll just say here lies.
Yeah.
There
you go. Yep.
Oh yeah. So no, I mean and so I mean and that kind of really answered the question number 6. What we were going to go into was obviously we're a service partner for you guys proudly, and very we're a chain-driven company. We service a lot of national chains and supermarkets and things of that nature. And so mentioning it was a goal on house, is that in the relationship, obviously from what we're really hearing is it's really not going to end it. It might change a little, but it's you're obviously you still need those outside vendors, like you said, because it's too much. You can't do it all.
Yep. And our future state, what we're looking for long term is there may be a point in the future where Malachi's installing something at insert some other local chain, and you need an electrician in the area, and Walmart, you just happen to have a relationship with the Walmart tech who's an electrician, right? And so you'll sub that service out from Walmart. And that's kind of we're definitely looking to become another service partner, in the field. I think we've talked about that, and you and Josh have talked about it multiple times. In the last decade, it has shifted from a decent amount of techs doing a decent amount of work to a shortage of techs doing a whole lot more work than we ever thought we were going to be involved in. And so we are quickly moving from that old mentality where it's like, oh, that's the guy across the street, don't send anything to him, blah, blah, to like, hey, bro, I got 40 tickets and I can handle 30 of them. Can you pick up 10 so I don't lose face with these customers? You got it. I got room this week. Let's knock them out. Because they know next week their tech's going to be on PTO. They're going to have a kid. They're going to break their foot. Like, I hope that, I don't want that, but it's the reality.
It is.
Yeah. You should see there's a guy that deals with the vans that get wrecked for Walmart, right? Because we have a ton of fleet vans out there, right? So I saw I saw you flinch when I said that. Can you imagine? We have thousands of vans on the road, so that person is consistently dealing with flat tires, transmission blown out, dents.
Yeah.
They backed over a customer. A customer ran into them. Whatever.
Yeah. It happens. That's got to happen every day with that many vans.
Oh,
I mean,
it happens every hour.
As we've grown, I mean, I've never seen as many things happen, and as we grow, it's going to continue to happen. It's definitely the nature of the beast.
Yeah, but it is, and that's what Walmart is invested in is becoming one of these service companies, right? And we're working. That's one of the things that I get to do is I get to make sure that the relationships stay. Have we run some relationships? Yep. I'm sorry. It was never my intention. It was never, I could go on and on about that. I won't. It's negative, and I don't want to dwell on anything negative. But we've had some companies that have backed out of service with us, and it was, and admittedly, sometimes they're too stubborn to work in the realm. But there's a lot of times that we've got a factor in the field that's sort of driving them to make that decision, right? Where they're forced to go, you know what? It doesn't make sense to work for Walmart anymore. And it's unfortunate. I don't like that at all. Like that's one of It's probably one of my least favorite things to deal with.
Yeah.
But I try to at least
Nice.
get them to the point where we can shake hands and walk away.
Yeah,
You know,
and listen, that's gonna happen, right? That's gonna happen. I mean,
Yep.
you know, sometimes you might be doing some business with someone for 10 years, 20, or whatever it might be. Then things, as we know, things nothing stays the same, and
Yeah.
things evolve and change, and sometimes it's just not the same fit anymore. I mean, I think that's okay. You know, that's
Yeah.
keep it moving. Got to keep it moving.
But the beauty of it is, and this is the kind of guy I am, right? I have I can name. I'm not going to name them, right? But I can give you, if you needed to, I can give you 5 vendors right now that have walked away from Walmart. But when an OEM reaches out to me and says, "Who's running service in this area?" Right? Here, call this person. Like it happened. Our business grew apart and we walked apart. It doesn't mean that I thought there are vendors that I've gotten out of the Walmart system because they were that terrible vendor, right? Like they were not doing what, but
that's wait, what?
and it's so much more. I'm out again. And
No, you're good. You're good. We're back.
So, you know, I try to maintain those relationships, and that way, when somebody goes, "Hey, I need help in Idaho. I need help in Wyoming." Yeah, you know what? I know some folks. I know, you know, and I send them over. I'm like, here's 3 companies rolling in that area, right? You know, and if they, you know, a lot of times if they tell me specifically what they need, I may recommend one company over the other because I know I've asked those questions from the get-go. I built that relationship with them, so I know this company's going to be better for ovens. This one's better for ice machines. This one's better. Like I know, right? So I give them, I push that brand out because first off, they helped me out for so long. Even if even if we walked away from a relationship, they were always, you know, right for me. And I always worked to build that relationship. And then at the same time, right, they're still out there running techs and they need the work and somebody needs the help. And so if we can't help them, or it's, you know, like right now we're not offering our services outside of Walmart right now, right? So obviously if somebody come to me and they said, "Hey, I got some Targets I need some help with in this area." I know people from Target, I know people from Starbucks, I know all these folks, right? I'm like, "Hey, here's a company here, here's a company here." You know, in the future, I'm like, "Hey, you've got us and here's 2 others," right? And so, you know, at some point I'll become a salesman for our service. But who knows, right? Like, I don't know. We may have a SVP walk in and be like, "Hey, I liked it when it was all third party," and we go back. I mean, that's a stretch. That would be a that would be a big shift of people and everything else. But Walmart's a big company. It can happen. It could happen. So right now that's where we're headed. So
Yeah, and listen, like I said, nothing stays the same. Change is inevitable, growth is optional, and you know, you have to keep changing with the times. And for us, like, listen, I mean, that's why you see the stuff that we're doing here. I mean, I wouldn't say it's really in our wheelhouse or what we do every day with, especially with like Pizza Group. I mean, we're taking on national service dispatch for installations and warranty service calls. We're the OEM parts distributor, which I made a little announcement this morning. And there's other things coming down the pike with some other manufacturers that we want to work with and build with, and we have to keep diversifying to be as you know, with all the changes that are happening. You see the consolidations, the acquisitions, maybe big, you know, like Walmart's and these other chains going into in-house maintenance. You might not necessarily lose all the business, but you might have had, you know, done this much business and now you're doing this much business with them. You have to keep finding new ways. I think, especially as a service company, where different things are occurring every day, from parts distribution to tech labor to just all the different things. You have to continue to make sure you're profitable and add on those services. And I like the fact that maybe there's a way we partner down the line. Who knows, with City FM, electrical, plumbing, different things of that nature. That's an interesting thing you brought up too. So
Yep.
Yeah. Anything going on, Lisa, on the comments?
There's always lots of love for Taz.
Of course.
Mike Reed says Taz the great ambassador to the trades.
Yep.
And
And that's, you know, what's funny is, and I'll pinch off a little bit for the trades. I know we're running short on time, right? But you know,
yeah, we're good.
That's one thing. We were just in a conversation 2 weeks ago, and I heard my VP going, "We got to get out to high schools. We got to talk to these kids that don't know. They have no idea how to make a living for themselves, right? They've not been given those opportunities. but they're sitting there going, college is not my thing, right? If college is your thing, let's go. Walmart gives scholarships for that. Let's get it, do it. If college isn't your thing, right? Like don't freak out. That doesn't mean you're a fry cook for the rest of your life. There's plenty of other options. Fry cook's a great place to start. It teaches you timing, frying. It teaches you food equipment. It teaches you a lot of really good base goals. But down the road, when you're 60, you don't want to be cooking fries unless you own a Michelin restaurant and those are, frites and they come with an ale. You know what I'm saying? So, I heard them talking about that, and it really warms my heart when people are talking about the trades, and and the funny thing is when you say trades, typically people are thinking food tech, electrician, plumbing, all of that. But my daughter is now a member of the trades. She's part of the medical trades, right? And those folks do the same. They are running out the door all the time with their hair on fire, trying to save lives, right? Trades are doing the same thing. They're trying to save a building. They're trying to save a cut. They're trying to, I need someone there in person to save the day. And so, my daughter.
Something about his daughter. Hold on. My daughter.
I grew up farm. Here we go again. Bump. Anyway, I'm back.
No, the last thing we heard you say was my daughter.
Oh, my daughter. Yeah. So did you hear about anyway, she's in the trades, right? So she's a paramedic and all of that, right? So my daughter's in that world. I grew up in the farm industry, right? So it's all needed. So, college is great. There's a place for that. But yeah, Walmart is now looking to get back out into the community, and it's not just in Bentonville, right? Understand, it's not Bentonville, Arkansas. The message went out to our regionals and our directors that are in New Jersey, they're in Florida, they're in California, you name it. Get out to your local high school. Talk to them about, you don't like college, you don't want to join the military. What about trades? Like, these kids need options, and we need people that we can, train into the industry. So yeah, I'm always up for the trades. If somebody wants to work for themselves and be that person, I will be your biggest cheerleader every single time.
That's awesome. And listen, at the end of the day, all trades are people helping people. So if you have that kind of heart, and a lot of people do. A lot of people want to help people. So that's what the trades is all about. We're here helping other people. Anything else, Lisa, before I go into some fun stuff?
Sure. I'm not sure exactly what this says. Food service in-source techs completing 100% most regions.
Yep. So Solomon, that's one of our
Solomon? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Solomon.
Yeah. Solomon's one of our food equipment specialty techs now. He's one of the, I met him when he was with Lee's food service, and then he's since gone. I can't remember the name of the other company he's with for a minute, but now he's with Walmart. But yeah, Solomon's, he's just like me, right? Like he wants to do good. He wants to serve. He wants to get out there. He wants to educate. He wants to be better. He wants to move that needle. And so he's right. In some areas, our food equipment technicians are taking all the calls, 100%, right? They're moving the needle on all the calls. Some areas we still need help. And some areas they may be doing the food service, but they're not getting the plumbing, right? So we're always rotating through people. We're just like you. You've got people that leave, you got people that come in, and we do it, but it's just 100 times that. So, but yeah, Solomon's out there. Like, he posts pictures on rooftops in the snow and in the blistering heat and everything else. Yeah.
I see him out there. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, so Taz, as we wind this down, what are the top 3 items you purchase most regularly at Walmart?
Okay. No, that's a great question. So that I personally purchase from Walmart, right? For me, or do you mean what do I purchase for Walmart as a Walmart employee?
Yeah, if you go to Walmart, what's the top 3 things you're getting every other Tuesday, or what are you going to Walmart for always?
Yeah, so the biggest thing I go to Walmart for a lot of times is going to be, I go there for groceries. It's an easy choice for me. There's plenty of Walmarts, as you can imagine, in Bentonville, right? So I'm definitely running there for groceries, right? So beer nuts and cabbage rolls, right? Like that's You know, it's kind of where I'm at. Recently becoming a vegetarian, I've had to learn some new tricks in the food space. So that's been fun. Fortunately, they haven't taken my beer away from me yet. But you know, as you get older, you know how some of that works out.
Yeah, you're going vegetarian?
Yeah, I have been for about a year and a half now. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, I sort of had to had a discussion with the doctor, and so he decided it's not a we. He decided that it was my best option. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
so I don't do a lot of animal proteins anymore. So
Lisa, you wanna cancel that Omaha Steak subscription we got for Christmas? Cancel that.
yeah,
I will keep that.
yeah, no.
Just resend that out. Resend that to Josh. It's out. And,
Yeah, send that over to Josh. Yeah,
send it to Josh Olin.
Yeah, Josh can use it for sure. Now, I just, yeah, groceries. I definitely, I buy a lot of stuff for the farm there, right? So work gloves, screws, nails, you know, that kind of stuff I buy there.
Yeah.
And then I'll be honest with you, I'm a sucker for potato chips. It's one of the sort of guilty pleasures that I have.
Now I'm left hanging. I want to know what his favorite chip is.
I may hate it, but here's the deal. I'm a sucker I just love the crunchy potato chips. And so that's probably my guilty pleasure. So groceries, hardware, and potato chips, right? Or chips. Right. They be corn chips. Like,
okay.
So.
Corn chips.
Yep.
Right. All right. Bugles?
Bugles. Love cheddar cheese bugles. Yep. You know it.
Oh, yeah.
I like the regulars too. Regulars are good. Cheddar cheese bugles are good. My recent one, the Pocky brand is, I don't know if you've seen those yet, right? But they've got the like spicy Pocky brands. They have a salsa verde that's my current favorite.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah, it's really, really good. So I'm a big sucker for those. I try to stay away from them because I don't need that much. I still got some weight issues I got to work on. But man, I'm a sucker for a new potato chip flavor every time.
I like it. Was that Hartman?
Yeah.
What Hartman say?
Oh, he said it. Jason said that if you need some veggie ideas, he's been vegetarian for a while, and he could swap some with you.
Yep, I definitely will. I've had to. Adjust.
I don't need them. I got the meat truck outside. Bring it around back.
Yeah.
When I get off these fired up lives, we just eat meat raw.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Here's the deal. It doesn't bother me. You can eat it in front of me. I'm good with it. I don't get to participate anymore. Thankfully, I still the doctor didn't say anything about my whiskey yet, so I get to keep that. So
there you go.
I'm good there.
That's the kicker.
That's the kicker. Take that away. I'm just gonna have to, eat cheese curds and be miserable.
There you go. So Taz, so would you rather spend the year being the greeter at Walmart or the CEO of Walmart? You get the same salary as the greeter, though.
Greeter, all day.
I told you.
Yeah, all day. I mean, I like people and their stories that much. I think honestly, I meet a lot of people greeters at Walmart and have over the years, right? And a lot of them are guys just like me or ladies, just like me, that they've had a fulfilling career and they're dwindling down the retirement era. And I love those people because they're they're bored at home, right? The retirement's fine. It's kicked in. They're paying the bills. They're fine. But they need to talk to people. They need that human interaction. And the fact that that's what greets you when you walk into Walmart. That's one of the coolest things we still continue to have, right? Is somebody you walk in, hey, how's your day going? Can I grab you a card? Hey, there's a new potato chip flavor over here. You should try it out. I highly recommend. I would definitely be the people greeter.
Yeah, in the Midwest, I bet you that it's very nice. But Lisa, what do you think the Walmart greeters are doing here? It's probably like this.
Yeah.
Welcome New Jersey Walmart.
And to be honest,
no, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No, I know.
I don't see too many Walmart greeters.
Well, they're checking the receipts and stuff like that and saying have a great day. That's about it. But yeah, no, I think my mother would be great at that.
Yep.
She's been very chatty.
Yeah, if she's bored, I mean, why not? I think she's got her hands full with your nephews though right now, doesn't she? Yeah.
Oh, she does. She
Yeah.
does. She's exhausted by now. The last thing is, tell us something we should all know about Arkansas, and a fun fact about Taz.
Okay. I'll give you one that recently circulated up. I had a friend of mine from Canada that just was shocked that this was a thing. But Arkansas is actually home to one of the largest natural diamond mines. So I don't know if you knew that or not, but there's a place just south of here called Murfreesboro, and you can go. It's a state park. You can go just dig around to your heart's content and dig up diamonds. And I forget how many pounds of diamonds are found there every year. One of the kids my son went to school with found like a 4-carat one down there one time.
Damn.
Wow. Big dude, right? So that's kind of a cool thing. Arkansas is a very beautiful state. It has a lot of trees and rivers and valleys. It's very, if you're a hiking or like mountain bike type personality, like if that's your thing, there's a lot of that you can travel here and do. It's really good. The people are a lot of times like me. We're just sort of from Arkansas. We're proud of Arkansas. Generally good people, happy to help you out.
If you have a lot of groceries,
Somebody's gonna tell you where that nearest Walmart is. So that's that's what that is. Yeah. All right. And second part is, what's something about Taz? What was again? What's something about Taz?
Yeah. What's a fun fact about Taz that we might not know?
Let's see. Let me find an obscure. I think I'm pretty out there. I think a lot of people know a lot about me, but let me see if I can find something really obscure that I think would shock people. Well, not shock people, but like be pleasantly surprised about.
You want to shock the world here today? Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, vegetarian is something. Yeah. That is something.
Yeah. I know. I look like that barbecue grill kind of guy, and I was. So that's a big thing. I'm helping. Here's one. I'm helping my wife start a mum farm. So we're gonna start growing mums.
Hey.
So there you go. There's a random fact that I don't know that's necessarily out there. She has about 250 of them growing right now that she's hoping to sell at least half to 3/4 of them this fall when they're already starting to get the little flowers on them and bloom out. She has several different colors and varieties of them. So there you go.
That's pretty cool. I love that.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go drive to Arkansas and buy some mums for fall.
We're gonna go. We should go get a mum for every Malachi employee.
There you go.
The mum giveaway 2023.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. Fun fact. So
that's cool. I love it. So we're winding down. This is about it. We've been fired up all day here on a Wednesday. Anything else, Taz? Any closing thoughts? Any closing words for the world?
Here's the deal. Here's my closing thought for you. I was trying to think about this. I was trying to be. I can't ever beat Josh. Josh is always going to be more poignant than me, and I love that about him, right? But here's the deal. Take it from Taz. Use the old adage. You're going to catch more flies with honey than you are vinegar, right? So when you get out there and you're building that partnership, make sure you're building a partnership that's going to last. You talk to people like they're humans. You talk to people about real goals, and you be realistic with people. That realistic kind of approach to partnership with everybody will return you 1,000 times, right? So you get out there, you're good at what you do, you talk to people, you understand who else is in your space, you help them, they'll help you 1,000 times over. And that's that service mentality, right? So if you have that feeling in you that you want to help people, you serve all of those.
Oh no, he's frozen. It's not that he dropped, he's frozen. Wake him up. Oh man.
Well, we had him for most of it, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that actually was really good. So I'll take him down now.
Taz, we lost you. I love you, brother. I appreciate you. Give it a second to see if he comes back to us.
And I'm sorry.
Maybe try to bring him back and see if he comes back in.
No. That's it.
Razmataz. He is
No, I dropped.
now he's completely dropped. All right, well, listen, we had him for basically the whole hour. That's a beautiful thing. We're gonna send the service call out to City FM for the Ethernet cable from Walmart to the city street. And listen, this was a great episode. You know, I love talking to Taz about things that are happening in his world and in the industry because the guy just has a lot of insight. He's super smart, and you know, we always learn something from Taz when we talk to him. So, let us know in the comments after this. What did you learn today? What are you fired up about? What's got you going? You know, obviously the industry's changing, Lisa. It's changing, and you know, I feel like I always try to keep my ear to the ground and kind of look ahead and make sure that I'm doing what's best for the business and all the people that are here around me. And I'm going to keep doing that. You know, things are going to continue to change. Facilities, maintenance. It's an expanding, growing business and industry, and you know, for us to continue to make sure we evolve with these things like national dispatch and parts distribution and just a lot of different things. We want to be there long term for the next 50 years. 50 years, Lisa, I will be 91.
Oh God.
I'll still be getting fired up right here. Actually, I'll probably be a hologram by then. So and I think that's it. We'll take it down. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 episodes left. Next week we have, do we know?
Yeah, Chelsea. Chelsea. Marketing.
Yes.
Marketing in the food service industry in 2023 with Chelsea Stuff from Crave.
That is good. Go ahead.
And then, which is going to be a great conversation.
Oh, yes.
And then the last live stream is
That's the tools.
the importance of your tool bag with Dylan Taylor and Andrew Brown.
Yes, we're gonna do that next week. Make sure you tune in. I really, Chelsea is awesome. She's in tune with what's going on. You're gonna want to hear what she has to say. With her and Craven Company, her company, you're gonna want to hear about that. And I got to tell you, you know, I'm gonna have some things to share, some insight because you have to understand what's at stake. I've been talking about this since 2018. You have to get on the platforms and start talking and start showing who you are and building your brand. It is changing my company. It is growing my business. We'll talk about it next week. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day. Go crush it. Stay fired up. I'll see you next Wednesday.